Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, January 13th, 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very serious situation brewing just a few miles north of downtown Pittsburgh. Now, most of you know that I live right near the Pittsburgh area. I'm about 25 miles south of the city. And yesterday, I showed everybody all of these large ice jams that were literally jamming up the rivers. Pieces of ice the size of cars, 12 inches thick. Some of them have been measured up to 2 feet thick, washing out roads and causing major problems. Now, one of the biggest problems that is occurring is the Monongahela River, the Allegheny River. They come into the city of Pittsburgh right near the point, and they merge into the Ohio River. Now, the problem is there's a lot of barge traffic on these rivers. Coal, sand, aggregates, things of that nature. These barges are anywhere from 16 to 20 feet deep. They are very, very large vessels. And right now, 27 barges have broken loose near Jack's Run, but 60 barges have broken loose and they have crashed into the Emsworth locks and dams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these rivers where I live, they're very big, they're very deep. This is a high traffic area. These are very, very important rivers for transportation of all of these products. The Ohio River goes all the way over into West Virginia. It flows all the way down to the Mississippi River. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very, very critical situation here. I have some video feed from WPXI, local news station here in Pittsburgh. Their news helicopter was up in the air and filming what has occurred at the Emsworth locks and dams on the Ohio River. All of these barges have crashed into the locks and the dams, preventing them from closing the overflow. So right now, this is a very, very serious situation that has brewed in the Pittsburgh area. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this screen. I'm going to go ahead and get into the actual video. Just give me 1 second here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to share this information real quick on the Planet X News Facebook page. Just give me 1 second. It's a very, very critical situation here, folks. Very, very dangerous for many people that live along the Ohio River. Just give me 1 second. We'll get out of here and we'll get straight to the video. Now, this is the actual video from WPXI's news helicopter. And ladies and gentlemen, all of these barges are full. They are either full of sand, aggregate, or coal. Now, as you can see right here, this is a massive ice flow. All of this ice has broken loose. These are massive chunks, 12 inches thick to 2 feet thick, and they are just literally flowing down the river. Now, this series of locks and dams, there are, I believe, 7 gates here at the Emsworth Dam. And ladies and gentlemen, these rivers in my area here, they are segmented, sort of like walking down the steps. So the locks and dams are up and down the rivers, and they literally regulate the water flow all the way down to the Mississippi. Without these locks and dams, there would be just massive flooding all the time, and you wouldn't be able to live in any of these areas. These locks and dams, they've been around for a long time, 40, 50, 60 years. They're actually doing some upgrades on lock number 4, which is literally right by me. Now, I live a little bit further up on the hills, so I'm not in any situation where I'm going to get flooded. But all of the communities along the rivers, they are in serious, serious danger. There is absolutely no way right now for any type of cruise on tugboats to get in there and latch on to these barges. These barges are very, very heavy. Like I said, the majority of them, as you can see right here, these barges are sinking. Excuse me. This barge right here is full of coal. This barge is completely full. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a very good friend of mine. He is a riverboat captain. He does drive one of the tugboats that pushes these barges. I was trying to get a hold of him, but he may actually be out on the river. This is a very, very dangerous situation, folks, because now a lot of these barges have sunk. Some of them are partially sunk in the river, and they are literally jammed into the floodgates, which means they cannot close them. So what we're looking at right now is probably millions and millions of gallons of water that are free flowing over the Emsworth locks and dams just a few miles northwest out of the city of downtown Pittsburgh. Before I go ahead and get into this, just let me back this off. I did have one photograph I wanted to show you guys real quick, and this was a screenshot taken from a mobile cam up on top of Mount Washington. And you're looking at the city of downtown Pittsburgh. This was just yesterday before we started getting the snow. We were pounded with a lot of rain, high temperatures, close to 60 degrees. And what you're looking at right here, you're looking at the Monongahela River. This is one of the only rivers in the world that actually flows north. And then right here, you have the Allegheny River. You have Point State Park here. This is a big water fountain. And as you can see, folks, this is the city of Pittsburgh, the downtown area. It's relatively flat, no hills until you come across the river. We're looking down from Mount Washington down into the city of Pittsburgh. And then the nearest hills and higher elevations are way back here. So already first thing this morning, if you follow my cursor, all of this area right under here, folks, that is the wharf. That is completely underwater. Now, this photograph was actually taken yesterday, early afternoon. So I don't have a current picture of what's going on here right now, but it's probably not looking good. Now, the Allegheny River, the Monongahela River, they converge right here to form the Ohio River, which starts to flow west, and then it goes straight down south, forming the western state line edge of West Virginia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember my live stream the other day when we were talking about this weather, and I mentioned that all of these warm-ups are going to cause a very severe ice melt, which we've already gone through, on top of all of the rain that saturated my area and many other areas near me. And I mentioned that the western edge of West Virginia was going to be in the crosshairs of a lot of damage, a lot of flooding damage. This happened a few years back in West Virginia. They got nailed. People lost their lives. A ton of damage. All of this right now is flowing their way. And there is absolutely no way to stop it. The flow of water, the flow of ice, all of these barges breaking loose, this is going to be a very tragic disaster. There's just no other way to explain this. Let's get into the video because the video is very incredible. My heart and prayers go out to to everybody downriver, man, it's not going to be a pretty scene. I'm going to go ahead and let this video play, and you guys take note. These barges are full. They are full. You're not going to go in here with a tugboat, latch on, and try to pull these out. It's just not going to happen. It's entirely too dangerous. And the destruction of these locks and these dams right here at Emsworth, there is no doubt that there has been some damage here. They don't know how much damage because the situation is still so critical that you just can't get rescue workers in there to try to latch onto these barges and pull them out of the way. Now, this is not the only section of the rivers here in Pittsburgh that are having these problems. There are problems like this on the Allegheny River, and there are problems like this on the Monongahela River. So this is a very, very critical situation. Let's jump in here and watch this video real quick. Now this is directly live streamed from the WPXI News helicopter.
It's not? Who's on first? Yeah, ENG is a charge to, you want us to stay on this here? I don't know why they're not talking to us. Hey, who is this? Dennis, how's it looking back there, buddy? Well, we... you know, I'll get some tighter shots. Do you want us to? Do you want us to aim at remote too? I think right now we're tracking beaver. Copy that, Dave. That's Oakland. The Oakland repeater remote. Okay. Well, what if can we hit? Can you aim Westmoreland? That'll put us from our location here. If you could. Greensburg. Copy that, ENG.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop the video right here real quick. I'm going to give you some real quick explanations on these locks and dams. Now, these are the river floodgates right here. There is about a distance of about 60, maybe 70 feet from the overflow. Now, this is not a normal situation that you're seeing here. This is not the way that these locks and dams work on these rivers up here. The water does not flow over. This is not a spillway. There are very, very large turbines underneath each one of these gates. It sucks the water from the upper level, it brings it down, and then it bubbles up here. All of this water usually stays very calm. Sometimes you really can't even see it flowing. But on this end, you'll see kind of looks like raging rapids at some points in time. Right over here to the left, you'll see these gateways. And this is where the barges come in. They basically stop. The locks are closed on both sides of them. And then the river level is either brought up or down to bring them to the next level. So this is a very, very critical situation because right now, All of these barges are jammed into the locks. These gates right here, they have probably suffered some significant damage. If they are not able to close these gates, then this water is going to continue to flow unimpeded, which means everyone downriver on the Ohio River from the city of Pittsburgh all the way through the panhandle of West Virginia into Ohio and all the way straight down the state line, the state border, the western border of West Virginia. The Ohio River creates that state border. These people are going to be in grave danger. I have already checked out on the NOAA website for river flood levels, and all of the reporting stations along the Ohio River, along the state border of West Virginia, are in the yellow, which means they are just below flood stage. So again, this video came through about 1 hour ago. This is free flowing water and ice that is heading that way into West Virginia and the states on the other side of the river, the western side of the Ohio River. So this is a very, very critical situation, folks. And you know, we're going to have some more bad weather brewing. We're going to have some more freezing polar vortex temperatures coming through. Then we're going to have another warm up. And then all hell's going to break loose again, which means we're going to have more rapid snow melt, and then we're going to get hit with more snowstorms, and then another rapid warm up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you are looking at the complete definition of climate chaos. Just no doubt about it. Very critical situation brewing in my neck of the woods. Let's go ahead and continue with the video.
Yeah, this one right there.
I'm going to go ahead and stop this right here, folks. You see this barge right here. This barge is already completely sunk. It has jammed itself between these this gate right here. This barge right here, once again, has smashed right into this solid concrete pillar. And again, folks, you know, these locks and dams, they're 50, 60 years old. Some of them may even be older than that. Again, you can see this barge here is completely full of coal. This barge completely full of coal. This barge completely full of coal. Now, usually these barges that you see the covers over, these usually contain sand or other aggregates that they actually want to protect from water. But yeah, these are all full of coal. I mean, folks, you can just clearly see, you know, barges are made out of a huge, thick steel plate. Yes, they are buoyant. When you take the product out of the barge raises up out of the water. The more weight you add, you know, it sinks. And it's only, you know, it's only a few feet above the river level when they're full and they're pushing these barges up and down the rivers. So this is going to be a very, very dangerous situation for river rescue workers that at some point in time, they're going to have to go in here and they're going to have to try to get these barges out of here. But when that's going to be, I don't know, because the situation is going to be very, very dangerous for them, because if they get a tugboat or any kind of rescue boat anywhere in here or between these barges, and they make one wrong move with this fast-flowing water, it's going to crush their boat between the barges, crush their boat between the pillars of the locks and dams and the gates. It's a situation that, I wouldn't want to be in. Then the fact is, they're going to have to get these barges that have sunk underwater with tons and tons of aggregate, sand, and coal that have jammed themselves deep underwater in this area right here. There are sunken barges already preventing these gates from closing. It's a very, very dire situation, folks, and this is going to affect probably hundreds of thousands of people along the Ohio River heading south. So let's go ahead and continue. Some of this video may be a little choppy because it was being live fed directly from the helicopter to the news station, but let's go ahead and continue watching this.
My bad. Oh. Where at?
I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here real quick, folks. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see 5 barges in this section of the video that have already beached themselves against the wall over here. This barge is almost raised up in the air. It is actually jammed into the gate over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gates, and then right here you have the structures where the barges go in. The water levels are brought up and down so the barges can proceed down the Ohio River. All of this that you see right here, folks, I know the video quality is not that good because the chopper feed was kind of choppy. These are all massive chunks of ice. These chunks of ice are the size of trucks and cars. They are 1 to 2 feet thick, solid. These are doing a lot of damage, and the more weight and the more pressure over here that's going to build up against these barges, they're going to continue to damage these locks and these gates. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Ohio River is free flowing over these gates. There is nothing stopping this water. Right now, the Emsworth locks and dams completely mechanically shut down. And that's a no-no. I mean, where I live here in the Three Rivers, I mean, that's what they call it. We have the Monongahela, the Allegheny River. They flow together. They meet right in downtown Pittsburgh, and they form the Ohio River. The Ohio River flows all the way into the Mississippi. So this is possibly going to affect people all the way down into Memphis, Tennessee, and all of those communities all the way along the Ohio River. And again, folks, at this particular time, because of this damage, there is nothing that the other locks and dams downriver, there's nothing that they can do other than open up the floodgates. Because if they don't, then all of the water, all of the ice is going to continue to build up like just walking down the steps. Each set of locks and dams along these rivers has to work in conjunction with each other. They all stay in communication with each other. And this is, nowadays, this is all pretty much regulated with computers, but there are still human beings that man all of these stations. And right now, they're probably going crazy because they have a very, very serious, dangerous situation that's going to affect hundreds of thousands of people along the Ohio River. And again, I warned of this the other day. I had a feeling that, because these rivers were frozen over just a little bit. And these rivers are very deep, folks. There are huge channels in the middle of these rivers for the barge traffic. Some of these places can be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 feet deep. We are talking about major volumes of water moving at a very, very rapid pace with huge chunks of ice that can just literally crash through anything. Now, we have 60 barges broken loose just a few miles north of downtown Pittsburgh, and then south of the city, 27 more barges have broken loose, and these guys cannot, they cannot grab them. It's just, you just can't throw a rope around one of the pillars on the barges and reel it in. I mean, you're talking about tons and tons and tons and tons of steel. And if they are full of coal, sand, aggregate, whatever's inside of the barge, well, look, we know it's going to make them much, much heavier. So this is the current situation that's brewing right now at this Emsworth Locks and Dams on the Ohio River, right outside of the city of Pittsburgh. And the situation is getting worse. Let's go ahead and continue with the video footage.
That what you're talking about? Well, you get in close and that really tests you, We got this. That's looking good. That's that. Hey. Only Pittsburgh, place with potholes in the sky. Sure, Camp. Lawn Wharf, bathtub, how's that looking? Copy that.
I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here for just 1 second, folks. I know the picture's just a little blurry. Let's see if we can just jump back here just a little bit. Okay, right here, you can see there are two barges. One is covered, one is full of coal. These are fully loaded. They have literally smashed into the base wall right here. This is one of the floodgates. And again, they are not able to close this gate. So what's actually occurring right now is this series of locks and dams and gates right here. This is not a spillway. You know, so a spillway is kind of like, you know, overflow water, free flowing water over the top and, you know, down to a lower level. That is not how these locks and dams work. The mechanisms are underwater, underneath each one of these gates. And like I said, the water is sucked down and then it is shot out from underneath on the other side. So right now, the current situation is massive amounts of free-flowing water just going over top of the gates. It's a very, very serious, very dangerous situation. And, you know, I haven't heard any updates from the emergency management administrations here in Pittsburgh and down along the river. I haven't heard anything about them warning or possibly evacuating these people that live in these small towns along the Ohio River going all the way into the panhandle of West Virginia and Ohio. They really, really need to do something right now because this situation is going to get worse. Let's go ahead and continue with the video.
Copy that. All right.
Okay, folks, on their live feed right now, the audio cut off from the helicopter pilot, but you can see these barges, they're jammed up. I mean, these are huge vessels on the river. You know, I grew up on all these rivers as a kid, you know, fishing and swimming and boating and having a great time. And this is just a very, very dire situation. I've never seen anything like this happen. There was a really, really bad flood whenever I was a teenager. I think it was back in 1984. There was a major mistake that was human error, and that was at the Maxwell locks and dams, and that was actually south of me. I live a little bit south of the city, and the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains and the Laurel Highlands, oh, they're about maybe 40 miles south of me. So it's kind of weird the way things are set up here. You know, you always think, oh, mountains are like, you know, north of you. You have to go up. Well, here in this section of Pennsylvania, you have to go down to get into the mountains, or you have to head straight due east out of the city, and then you'll be getting into the mountains. And these are pretty high elevations. And with that rapid warm-up that we had, all of the snow in those areas, again, the connecting river, the Monongahela River, again, one of the only rivers in the world that flows north. So the Monongahela River, where I live, it flows north into the city of Pittsburgh. All of that water flows into the Ohio River. And you're only looking at about maybe 5 miles, 10 miles outside of the city of Pittsburgh. And this is where this accident has occurred. And this really wasn't anybody's fault, folks. These barges were all tied up. They used very, very thick barge rope. And, you know, unfortunately, with all of this massive ice moving down, apparently it has broken free all of these barges, and they have all floated down, and they have literally crashed directly into these locks and dams. And as you can see from this point of view, the river level from one side to the other, it's almost level. And that should literally be about a 50 to 60 foot drop off from here to here, but it's almost level. This is not a good situation at all. And as you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I mean, you can see how fast this water is moving. And there is more and more and more water behind it that's being pushed in. The Allegheny River is pretty close to flood stage. The Monongahela River is pretty close to flood stage. The last I checked on the NOAA website for river levels, the Monongahela River was about 1.5 feet below minor flooding stage. The Allegheny River was pretty close to the same. And right now, the Ohio River is just in complete chaos. So this is what we're looking at here. This is part of our climate chaos, folks. So many factors are playing into this, and I'm not really going to get into all of them right now. I don't want to extend this live stream, for an hour or two. I wanted to share this information with you, and do me a favor, folks. Share this live stream. Share the URL link on your Facebook page or your Twitter, and you never know. There may be somebody downriver that happens to view the post, and they don't know what's happening. You may just save a life, because as of right now, folks, I have not heard anything about emergency management teams warning people downriver about what is coming their way. Not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. Say a prayer for all these people, folks. They're definitely going to need it. No doubt about it. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you hanging in here with me, viewing this information. Don't forget to share it. Stay tuned to Planet X News on Facebook and on YouTube. Very, very dire situation. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this live stream, and I'm going to be joining in tonight with the folks from Grand Solar Minimum and WTF Sky. We're going to be holding a live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be talking about the effects of this climate chaos, and we're going to be touching on some other subjects. I will post the link for this live stream, and that link will be posted on the Planet X News Facebook page. So around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, if you're not doing anything and you want to join in with us, we'd all love to have you. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. Be safe out there.